Hi ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're taking care of yourselves really well today in another video. Have you ever met someone that you perhaps really liked in the beginning, but once they started texting too much, you began to pull away and even kind of lose interest? Or perhaps your nervous system went into overdrive and you started getting anxious. And perhaps you misinterpreted those signals from your nervous system and you blamed yourself. Maybe you blamed yourself for maybe not being emotionally unavailable. Maybe you misinterpreted that anxiety, and maybe you started thinking that maybe you weren't ready for a serious relationship even. So guys, sometimes this isn't the case, okay? And so, and I will tell you why in this video. And if you are one of those people who tends to get extremely excited when a new person that you like comes into the picture and you go crazy with the text messages, right, or phone calls, then perhaps pay attention to this video, because not everyone responds or will respond in a similar way, and we're all different with our own, past wounds and with our own preferences, and so pay attention to this and take notes, because if you don't, you might just end up pushing this person away, pushing away the person that you really, really like. And if you would have just taken the time and slowed down your pace, then they would have still maybe been in your picture, okay, or in your life. So, but I'm going to discuss this. I'm going to discuss this particular, a couple of different points with you guys, okay, in relation to this topic. Something very similar just happened to me not that long ago, and you guys already know kind of some of it, right? And it was the guy from the hotel. Okay, so the guy from the hotel, as soon as we met and exchanged information, at first it was just professional, obviously, right? And so, but then he started text messaging me. And not only did he start text messaging me a little bit, but the text started coming in all the time, and it began to overwhelm me. And because he was texting too much, way too much, he was texting me pretty much all day, and on the next day, pretty much the same way. And so I began to feel overwhelmed, and I started getting really anxious, and I couldn't understand what was going on. I thought maybe that perhaps it was, perhaps I sensed that, this could be a potential relationship, right? And I liked the guy, but I didn't know him, right? And so, but still, my nervous system sent me some warnings early on. And I misinterpreted that, and I misinterpreted those warnings as to be something that it wasn't. I thought that perhaps I was just getting overwhelmed, and I was getting scared of this potential, this kind of this guy of, eventually becoming maybe something more serious, right? And so I misinterpreted that as maybe that. And I was thinking, wow, this might be something that I need to work on then. If this is coming up for me, then perhaps this is something that I still need to work on, right? Is that this fear that the avoidance usually get of being engulfed, right? Being engulfed and too soon, right? Being engulfed, being on the hook too soon, right before you're ready. But this is actually quite normal if you've been in abusive relationships before, and if you have similar experiences, then this is very, very normal. And I will explain why in this video. And so guys, point number one, right? Too much too soon can feel unsafe. Okay, so if you if you're if you're not ready for if you don't know this person, right, this other person, and if you feel like they're coming on too strong, they're texting way too much, calling way too much, and they're being overly friendly basically before you guys have had a chance to reach that comfort level, right, and to match your comfort level or the consistency, right, then you might start feeling like it's unsafe, like they're expecting too much from you, like they want more than you are willing to give just yet, right? And so this might send you, running basically. Okay, then the next point is your body might be warning you about boundary pressure. So sometimes texting too much, or if someone texts you too much or starts calling you too much before you're ready, before, like I said, um, you know, um, before you're willing to match their pace, right? You might feel pressured. You might feel pressure to respond. You might feel pressure to give, right, and to give as much energy as they're giving you before you're ready, right? Like I said, we don't even know people in the beginning, right? So it takes time to get to know them, and some people just naturally prefer this slower pace, this more natural, normal pace. Some people, especially people with an abusive past, with the past where their partners were abusive, uh, and perhaps they were love bombed in the beginning, right? This too much too soon, right? This text message, these text messages, these messages, these phone calls, and too many of them can feel like it's too much, and like it's just not safe, and like your boundaries are being pushed, okay, or even violated. You might fear being on the hook, okay, also. So yeah, it's just basically, you might feel being on the hook if you've been in, like I said, abusive relationships in the past, right? If you have dealt with avoidance, if you have been love bombed before, uh, if you, and so your nervous system will go into overdrive. It will send you, this will be like a warning to you, okay, that this is happening again. Pay attention, red flag alert, right? Pay attention to this. So you should definitely pay attention. If there's anxiety that starts coming up, it could possibly be picking up something that you are not entirely aware of, but your nervous system is aware of it, right? So it's sending you signals like pay attention, okay, and as this already has happened in the past before, so pay attention and don't get into something similar or the same again. Um, of course, liking someone can also, whoa, there's this shadow on my face, but anyways, liking someone can increase vulnerability, right? It might bring up certain insecurities that you have, or it might make you more vulnerable before it's time, right? So this can also happen. Liking someone, can, yeah, like I said, it can do this. It can make you feel vulnerable, and so you might not be. This could be the reason why. Like anxiety and liking someone or nervousness, they kind of go hand in hand. Okay, so this can be why also. Okay, so your nervous system checks for red flags early on, right, guys? So if you've been through. Your system basically, but I already mentioned this, right? Your nervous system might become more alert, right? So, and it will send you red flags early on. So definitely pay attention to that, okay? In my case, that's exactly what this was. And you guys, if you just do decide to share this with another person, right? And if you did, for example, share with them um, about your experience and what you were feeling, they should definitely be, if they're healthy, then they're not going to take it personally. It's not going to be like, they're not gonna feel like you're targeting them or their ego, right? They're not gonna feel targeted by you. They're going to actually try to see your side of the story. If they're emotionally healthy, they're going to make you feel at ease. They're going to put you at ease, and they're going to understand that it's not necessarily them, and that perhaps it's you, right? And so they're not going to take it seriously. They're not going to take it personally. They're not going to try to attack you, as this is something that happened in my case, right? So when I said something about this, right, he automatically perceived this as being an attack on him, when in reality it wasn't, right? And so, um, someone who is healthy is going to understand this, and they're going to try to make you feel comfortable. They're not going to take it personally, and they're not automatically going to assume that everything is about them, right? And so there's that, right? Especially if they're a healthy person, if they're not like they don't have a personality disorder, right? And they're not especially a narcissist, right? So there's that, right, guys? And also, of course, emotionally unhealthy people, right, or mentally, emotionally, everything is related, right? Physically, spiritually, a healthy person overall, right? A healthy person will try to understand you, okay? Then also, they're not going to come on too strong, too fast, and the reason being is because they care about your making you feel comfortable, right? And so coming on too strong is usually, it in a sense, it also stems from selfishness, okay? And not only that, but more often than not, unhealthy people use they use this fast speed, right? They use this the reason why they start texting so much, so fast, so soon, right, is because they want you to become familiar with them over the phone. So when you guys actually do start see each other physically, they can move in much, much faster. Okay, move in, like, let's just say into the bedroom maybe, or physically, right? So they will try to escalate everything, hence the love bombing, right? Because they're not because they're not truly capable of emotional connection with another person. So they're going to try to hook you in as fast as they possibly can by contacting you very, too soon, too fast. They're going to start bombarding you with messages, right? Phone calls. And so like I said, so when you guys see each other, you're going to feel like you're soulmates and you've known each other for a very long time, right? But this is not the case. This is just an illusion once again, right? And so it usually always takes time to get to know someone, right? And not only that, but guys, just remember this, okay? Someone who knows their worth, they know how much they bring to the table, right? And so they're not going to want to move fast, okay? They're not going to want to move fast with another person, because there's no point in moving fast. There's no again, the shadows on my face. Anyways, there's no point in moving too fast, because they don't see the point in rushing, right? Only fools rush in, and this expression applies here, right? You would be a fool if you would have rushed in too fast, especially into something as serious as merging two bodies together, merging two souls together, right? If they have a soul. I'm just kidding. No, but really, right? So like, it should be a gradual process that should unfold naturally, and it should make both of you guys feel comfortable, okay, and at ease. And if you feel pressured, if you feel like they're rushing, right, you can let them know about it, okay. And you guys, if they get offended, that's also another red flag, okay, to watch out for, because they shouldn't be offended by your boundaries. This is your boundary, right? And so you can always state your boundary, and if they don't like your boundary, then they might be a predator. They might be a potentially dangerous person. you know, who is just not for you, right? And so by stating your boundary, like let's just say you say, please slow down, you're moving too fast and I'm feeling anxious. You can say it in a nice way, right? Of course. And if they don't understand and they still keep on pushing, or they get offended even, right, as in my case, as in what happened to me, right, then you should definitely back off and just leave that person, you know, alone. They're not for you, you know. So yeah, anyways, I hope this video helped you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos.